Welcome to the Riveo Impact Lab, the podcast in which we explore what it means for small businesses to have real impact in an evolving world. On this podcast, we engage our curiosity around topics like sustainability, diversity and inclusion, and the ethical outcomes of our decisions, all from a small business perspective.
Hi, I'm Ellen.
And I'm Emily, and we release episodes of the Riveo Impact Lab once a month on the second Thursday of every month, so make sure to follow us on YouTube, Spotify, or wherever else you get your podcasts. And you can support us by listening, sharing, or leaving a review.
Today, we're sharing our interview with Sabine Langer, the Memphis-based owner of two locally owned restaurants, Global Cafe and Farm Burger Memphis, and the founder of the nonprofit Second Chance Kitchen. In this interview, we talk with Sabine about Global Cafe, which has, since 2018, provided long-term economic opportunities to immigrants and refugees who prepare authentic international cuisine. In Sabine's words, Global Cafe is a business where food, culture, and purpose intersect. In this interview, I talk with Sabine about how Global Cafe came to be, what challenges she and her team have faced along the way, and what it means to have a real long-term impact. We even get some insight into the most popular foods at Global Cafe. So consider this your fair warning not to listen to this episode on an empty stomach. Originally from Switzerland, Sabine is a dual U.S.-Swiss citizen who brings her global perspective to the work. Her goal is to build businesses that are both socially impactful and financially sustainable. She is an advocate for independent restaurants, inclusive hiring practices, and building a more equitable food system.
Yeah, so like you said, Sabine is originally from Switzerland, and so she brings really fresh insight and perspective to the topic of small business entrepreneurship and the importance of doing good in your community. Her passion for what she does is really evident throughout this whole interview, and there are so many nuggets of wisdom that our listeners can take away from Sabine's business journey and the way that she continues to center social impact.
That is absolutely right. So prepare to end this episode inspired and maybe a little hungry. Please enjoy this episode of the Riveo Impact Lab. Hi, Sabine. It's an honor to talk to you today. I'm excited for this conversation.
Same. Hi.
Can we start out with you just telling us a bit about your story and your background and what brought you to the U.S.?
Sure. I was born and raised in Switzerland. I moved to sunny Southern California when I was 21. And as I mentioned, the sun brought me to the U.S. Switzerland is a beautiful country. But between October and March, you don't see much sun. And I'm one of those people that I don't do well without the sun. Like my family knows if there's 2 days of gray weather here in Memphis, they better check on me. So that's kind of why I ended up in the U.S. And I ended up falling in love with Southern California and stayed. And that was many years ago.
Okay, so where are you exactly located now?
So right now I am in Memphis, Tennessee. And I've been here for over 10 years, probably 13 years now.
Okay, how did you get from California to Tennessee?
FedEx. My ex-husband works for FedEx, and FedEx is based out of Memphis. Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. You get to experience very different parts of the country.
Yes. Yeah. And I've also lived in Texas where my daughter was born. So I've kind of gone, I keep going that way. Maybe one day I'll go the other way. Who knows?
I love it. That's great. Well, so you've got this really cool business now. And I'm wondering, have you always been kind of an entrepreneur, or what made you want to go down that road?
So I've always, as far as I remember, I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I just didn't know doing what, and that's kind of a big deal, knowing what to do. And when I realized that you could be an entrepreneur and helping other people, that's when it really clicked. And I was like, okay, that's my path.
How did that happen? Was that like an aha moment, or did that happen over, time? Or do you remember when you were like, yes, I'm going to do this?
Yeah, absolutely. It actually kind of fell in my lap. It was the political situation in 2017 that was not very favorable for immigrants and refugees. And I just wanted to help and make a difference. And I just didn't know how. And I ended up doing a lot of volunteering and interviewing people in communities that have a lot of immigrants and refugees, and myself being an immigrant, of course. I would find those women, and they happen to all be women, that would cook on the side. They'd have a full-time job, one or two or three full-time jobs, and then cook on the side a little bit, trying to make extra money to, serve their neighbors, their communities. That's when I thought, maybe there's a path. I remember having conversation, and one of them was like, well, one day I was hoping to open my restaurant, but it's so out of reach. Now I looked into a food truck, but even that's so expensive. And a lot of them, highly educated. My first chef had a philosophy and psychology degree, but it didn't translate to the American system. So she ended up having to take a warehouse job. But highly educated, but not a lot of business background. So that's when I came in and was able to kind of bridge that gap. They were doing the cooking, I was doing the business side.
Oh, that's amazing. You know what I love about that story is that so many people complain about politics or, whatever is happening and never take the next step to actually
That's
do
true.
something.
That
So
is so true. And I think that Memphis, I'm going to plug Memphis because sometimes it has a little bit of a bad rap on a national level. But I feel that it's the only, and I mentioned, I think before, I've lived in Switzerland, I've lived on and off in Italy, I've lived in California, I've lived in Texas, and now in Memphis. I feel it's the only place I've been where the ethos is so that one little person like me can make a difference. And I've never really felt empowered or just have the capabilities of working the system or understanding the system to make a difference. So I'm not sure if Global Cafe would exist if I had been in a different city.
that's really interesting. I want to go into Global Cafe, but what is it about Memphis that made you say that? Like, what is so special about the ecosystem there?
I think that I always say Memphis is beautiful, it's great, it has its issue, it's super gritty, and that comes with the good and the bad. People know how to hustle, they know to do what it takes to get there, and I think I'm not saying other places don't have that, but it's just really focused and very, you meet a lot of people like this here.
I think I'm drawn to cities like that too. Like that, here in upstate New York, there's a lot of these cities where people are really gritty
And I mentioned my ex-husband, I got divorced and I could have lived anywhere. I could have left Memphis and decided to go back to Southern California, back to Dallas, where I have a lot of wonderful friends, but I just really love Memphis.
well, that's very cool, and partly probably because you started this really cool business, Global Cafe. Can you talk about that and the mission behind the business side?
Sure, I can talk about it. I can maybe not shut up about it. So you might have to stop me.
Please tell us all about it.
So Global Cafe is a social enterprise that I founded in 2018. We employ immigrants and refugees that cook authentic world food from their countries. And we offer permanent employment, which is a big difference from an incubator situation where, a lot of great incubators have situation like ours. But after 2 years, typically they roll out their employees. So our employees stay for as long or as little as they want. And that's, really economically making a difference in those people's life is really the goal of the company. And seeing, people being able to flourish and not just make a living wage, but truly making a difference in their lives and hopefully in their family and their larger communities' lives. That was the goal from day one.
That's amazing. And yet, so here you are, you have some entrepreneurial spirit. You have this idea because you've been talking to people in the immigrant community and you're realizing people have skills and desires and not maybe the capital or the ability to turn it into reality. And you yourself don't have any restaurant experience.
Correct.
So, how did you what was the process like? Did you just make up your mind to do this and find the space, or did you find the people first and then find the space, or how did that all unfold?
Yeah, that's it's a bit of a wild story. So my life partner, who's incredibly supportive, is the one that put in my ear that I could do it. And looking back, I don't know if it's beginner's luck, if it's just naivete, if what it is, but I just went for it and never looked back, never thought for half a second that I might not succeed. And just, I'm also a very stubborn person. So, and I have a advanced degree in Googling. That's another
Uh-huh.
good trait. And I just, I partner with a fantastic person who's my general manager to this day, who has very much the restaurant experience. He knows how to run a business. He's cooked. He cooks. He makes beautiful drinks. His name is Juan. He's, as I said, my general manager. So I think that we formed such a fantastic partnership, and that was really the magic happened.
So, was he with you from the beginning, and did he help you choose the staff and such?
He did. And here's the wild part. Juan and I met many years ago, well before 2017, when I was doing my research. I, at the time, was a very prolific long distance runner. And so
Mhm.
he was. And I had lived in Ventura, California, where he lived. And I was training for the Boston Marathon, and I needed to get a 20-mile run in. And the only person that could hang with me and chit chat with me on the 20-miler was Juan. And we stayed in touch through social media. And I remember seeing his Instagram page, and he'd always post beautiful pictures of food and drinks. And it was just all so gorgeous. And he's an immigrant. He's from Mexico. And I reached out. This is just another wild story, because I just reached out to him on Instagram. Hey, I have this crazy idea. And we literally had met once on a 20-mile run. So we didn't really know each other that well. I said, I have that crazy idea. Here's the idea. What do you think? And he's like, okay, I'll come and check it out. So I flew him out for 2 days. That was over Christmas 2017.
Did you already have the space at that point?
No, it was just a
So he's
wild
just coming
idea.
out to see
Yes.
Memphis.
So
Okay.
he's like, he comes, he checks it out. He's like, okay, I'm in. And this is how we work. And, he's the one that hired the staff. Well, it was kind of a concerted effort. But the thing is, I'm vegan. So I haven't ever eaten probably 80+% of what's on our menu. So the thing we did when we hired new chefs was asking them to come and cook dishes from their country for us, just not only to see if it was good food versus not great food, but also to see if it would work with the American taste. Not that
Right.
we would change anything, because we really want to have authentic food, but we wanted to make sure, maybe this dish, yeah, it would be a good seller, or maybe this one a little less, so let's not add it to the menu. So that was all Juan's job. He had to try the food, because I could only try the vegan things.
Sure.
So that's another part of the partnership that was really important.
Amazing. And did you ever run into pushback, like if you're trying to get a business license or something, and somebody may have said to you what are you doing? You don't have any experience with this. Did you
No.
ever run into that or other challenges that made you second guess this whole idea?
No, again, I'm just stubborn. I just, get out of my path. If I'm gonna go to between point A and B, you better get off or join me in. But no, I think people were just super supportive. As far as the, more administrative side of the business, we did not have any trouble. Yeah, it
Great.
was kind of it. All the stars aligned weirdly, but it all worked out.
That's great. So you opened in 17 or 2018?
2018,
2018. So this is 8 years later.
correct.
Yeah. How has it changed or evolved since those
Yeah,
early days?
that's it's evolved a lot. In 2018, so we opened. Juan moved here in February of 2017, and we designed the space. We got it all ready, built it out. and we opened our doors in 2018. Initially, it was just a pop-up. So I forgot to mention, we are located in a former Sears distribution center. It was 1.5 million square feet. Now it's a little bit over 1 million because they cut atriums to let light in. It's beautiful. So it's kind of like they call it a vertical urban community. And we started as, and I say we, and that's a big old fat lie because I, again, don't cook, I don't know anything. So it was literally our general manager and our first chef. They had a table in the hallway while our restaurant was finishing, the build-up was being finished. And they were selling food for lunch out of the hallway just behind where our current location is. And again, I mean, it just was meant to be because it all worked out.
Yeah.
We would cook the food in a commercial kitchen of an organization in the building, and then they would set up and just sell lunch out of there. Then we moved into our space, and we got lucky because we were able to establish ourselves before the pandemic. Then the pandemic hit, and that just, major curveball. We went from not doing online ordering, not doing any delivery, to every night changing. I remember I put an all-nighter one night, moving our system so that people could place online orders because, people were not allowed in restaurants. They could just come and grab and go. So that's something we just had to implement overnight. And then there's a lot of, uncertainty, and the rules kind of changed daily, and sometimes they were contradicting each other. It's like, jump on your left feet, kidding, jump on your right feet, take 2 steps back. It was a little bit of that. So we were just working with it. But again, we got so much support throughout that, it worked out. I guess that should be my tagline. It worked out. It all worked out.
When you're on that mission, that's really true to your, your authentic self. I think it does work out.
And just want to say it's a lot of hard work. It just didn't all happen. I just want to clarify that. It is a lot of work. Everybody works really, really hard, but we've been really lucky.
Yeah. So when you first, got the idea and you're going to start this, how did you fund it? Did you have trouble getting funding?
It was all self-funded. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because again, I didn't know what I was doing. Nobody would have lent me any money. I'm Swiss, so I don't know if people are familiar with Swiss stereotypes. We run the trains on time, the clocks on time, and we're also super frugal. So that was another good thing. It didn't cost me a lot of money to start the business, but we were able to self-fund. I didn't know any better. I didn't know that I could probably get funds from grants, or I had no idea. Because yes, I do have business background, but I've never had run my own business, and I certainly didn't know how the American system worked. So I just, again, beginner's luck.
Yeah. Well, as you said, it's more than luck. It's a lot of hard work and your vision and everything. And that's a big risk to put your own money into it.
It is a big risk, but again, I never thought it would not work.
Right.
And at that very beginning, specifically the first few weeks before we actually opened the brick and mortar restaurant, it was just such a small group. It was basically my general manager, our first chef, myself, and then one of my kids and one of my first chef's kids. It was such a small, tight community. And we just had that mentality of whatever it takes. If we have to sleep here and get it done, we'll get it done. If we have to start doing it all by ourselves, we will get it done. And that was, some days I miss those days. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, it kind of gives me goosebumps. That's like the true immigrant experience, right?
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Is there besides that story, is there any other story or moment that captures the essence of Global Cafe that you can think of?
So I don't think I have one story, but I do have several stories, and it's the stories that just continue to drive me every day. I remember the first time Ibti, our first chef from Sudan, told me that she would be able to pay off her house. Granted, it's a small house. The Memphis real estate market is not quite like the rest of the country, just to clarify things. But it was a huge step. Another employee, Maria, was able to buy her first car ever. Another employee, Feja, from Syria. She was able to buy a house. And then we've had at least 2, possibly 3 employees become U.S. citizens, including our general manager, Juan. And I was at that ceremony, and that's just pretty fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you really are making a difference for so many people. As someone who might want to visit the Global Cafe, is there a dish that everybody loves that you'd have to try if you came in,
Yeah. So
or a
again,
drink or something?
I haven't tried many of the dishes,
Yeah.
but one of the dish that is kind of the safe dish that a lot of people are attracted to initially, and it's kind of like a gateway drug, maybe. I don't know how to say that. It's a safe dish that doesn't sound too crazy, doesn't seem too crazy. So people will try it a few times, and then they come back. They're like, "Oh, maybe I'm going to venture out." And that dish is a Mexican asado bowl. It's healthy, it's delicious. And then for people that are a little more into adventure, the dama with rus from Sudan is really good. It's beef chunks and a spicy tomato sauce that I hear, again, I have never tried it, but it's very popular.
Oh, that sounds really good. What's your favorite dish on the menu?
You know,
Your favorite vegan dish?
it'd be telling you who my favorite child is, which I love you both, kids. No? um, You know, again, it's funny. I love myself a good burrito. We have burritos on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but my employees love to laugh at me or with me. I don't know. I'm going to choose that to think that they laugh with me more than at me. But I'm like, a burrito with no cheese, no sour cream, light on the rice, and they're just rolling their eyes at me and laughing. They're like, "That's not how it's done." I said, "I know, but I still don't." "You don't want cheese?" "Oh, I know." But I mean, again, I'm vegan, so the advantage is that there's a lot of vegetarian, vegan. Also, I'm not gluten-free, but we have lots of gluten-free options. There's something for everybody.
So I'm trying to imagine the restaurant and the like behind the scenes part of the restaurant where you have all these employees from different countries and different cultures. And I'm wondering like what that's like if you have a little United Nations going on in
We
there.
do. We absolutely do. And we all learn from each other, which, was part of our mission from day one. We have a big community table in the restaurant right behind me, like, maybe you can see it right here, which is part of getting that feeling of togetherness for our staff, but also for customers. And we want people to know about our customs, our food, our music, our way of doing. And that translates also within our staff. So our general manager, Juan, knows many Arabic words. I use yalla, yalla to say hurry up, go a lot now. We just all learn from each other, and it's we do have the United Nations. It's really cool.
That is really cool. And do you like when you're thinking about like your music or like what culture is featured, do you take turns day over day?
No, I mentioned the music, and that's more like during prep time and after hours. During the day, we are pretty intentional in the space we don't have any TVs. We usually don't have music. Sometimes we do when I need to a little pep in my step. But we just are really trying to get people to communicate with each other, whether it's our staff or our customers. So one of my favorite times in the restaurant is when I don't work in the restaurant as much. I work on the business rather than in the business, but I love being here. And when I bring food to the tables and you'll see somebody saying to a customer telling another customer, "Ooh, what do you have there?" And they are starting to talk about, "Oh, I have this and I love this and you should try this." It's just pretty fantastic.
Oh yeah, I think there's really something about that experiencing other cultures through food or you or music or dance or anything that you can just like get an understanding of.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. We always say food and we say our first ingredient is love, but it's true that food and to an extension travel just breaks down barriers and fosters understanding. So that's what we're all about.
Oh, and doesn't the world need that now?
Yes, especially right now.
We
Yes.
sure do. So can you talk a little bit about the community work you do through the Global Cafe?
Yes. So as I mentioned COVID. I just get PTSD every time I say that word. But during COVID, we moved into a higher gear and started feeding thousands of medical professionals that were stuck in their hospitals 24/7 for weeks at a time. So we brought food, and I mean, no offense to the cafeteria food in the hospitals, but I'm pretty sure it was not great. And our food is great, so we would deliver thousands of meals every week to medical professionals, different frontline workers, and then that shifted over post COVID to weather-related issues. So in Memphis, we don't do rain very well, but when there's 2 snowflakes and a little bit of ice, it basically shuts our city down for a week or two at a time. And every year it happens. So we cook hundreds of meals for the unhoused. So we provide the meals to the organization that put together emergency shelters during winters. Then we've also done funding of clear backpacks for a local newcomer school. We've also partially funded a DACA scholarship at a local university. It's just something that we feel like we have to do. It's part of being a good neighbor.
It sounds like such a special place you've created.
Yes, it's and it was my initial idea. Juan was there from day one, but I cannot take the credit for all of it. People that work with us have bought in the story, the mission, what we're all about, and it shows every day. I don't think that if you're not into that if you don't understand what we're about, you would enjoy working here that much. So you really have to have a special person that understands what we're trying to do.
And it seems like if you're open to it, it's an easy message to understand. It's spreading love and joy and understanding and learning and curiosity and all of those things.
Absolutely. And also, try to because the lack of understanding is just a fear, right? It's a fear-based reaction. And just seeing that, I mean, this is going to sound basic, but right this second, we do not have anybody that wears a hijab. For a while, we had many of our chefs that wore hijabs. And just hijab not equal terrorist. I mean, that just sounds, basic to you and I, but it's not always basic because if you don't know, if you've never seen somebody wearing a hijab, you're fearful possibly and you don't understand and you judge. And so just seeing those women that are giving their everything, cooking for you and that they love on you through their food, hopefully we shift your thinking a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's really, really important. And I'm so happy that you're creating this opportunity for your employees, but also for the public to take part in that. That's really cool. And you must like when you come into the restaurant and you look around, you see all the cultures represented, and you see all these people who've had opportunities to work or to even experience these different cultures. You must really feel great. Do you feel like satisfied, or do you feel like there's more work you want to do? Like what's going through your mind in those moments?
I don't think I'll ever be satisfied because there's always work to be done, but it's definitely what keeps me going every day. Seeing people with a smile on their face, whether they're back at the house, front of the house, on the customer side, returning customers, people building friendship, customers with staff that they know each other, know their families, know the grandkids and the grandparents and so on. That just means everything to me. And that's what it's not all rainbows and unicorns, sadly. So those are the moments that just keep me going.
Have you thought at all about expansion or about like sharing this model so that other people can do it in other cities?
Yeah, I just don't want to be in charge of it. But if there's ever anybody that's interested in copying the model, I'm absolutely more than open and willing to help out. It's just, it's a lot of work. It's really hard. And honestly, right now, it's a little more difficult finding immigrants and refugees with the current political situation. We don't resettle enough people that might be potential cooks for us. So, um, and yeah, it's a little extra difficult right now. Hopefully, we'll get back to a point where it'd be a little easier. But this also means that because it's a little more difficult, it's probably more needed. So, if anybody
Yeah.
out there is interested, I'm an open book, and I'm happy to help.
Yeah. I think that's probably true that it is more needed. And it's made me think of just another question that I'd like to ask you is like when you were designing the r- restaurant and the menu and everything, are you thinking, well, I need somebody from Latin America, I need somebody from South America, I need somebody from Africa? Like, are you trying to like cultivate a menu that
Yes.
meets your criteria, or are you building it based on the people that you're meeting that you think would be a great fit for the
Yes and
company?
yes.
Okay.
So initially, our very first chef was Ibti from Sudan.
Uh-huh.
I came to meet her. She was already cooking soups on the side in her community. And she was fantastic. Through her, I met another chef from Nepal. And then, so we had two chefs. And initially, the model was three different stalls with women kind of running their own businesses. We changed that a little bit, but we still have more or less three different stalls. So three main cuisines. And at the time, I was like, okay, who should we support? Who needs the most boost? And Syria was at the time, still is, uh, high on that list. So I started putting the word out, met with Feja, which was our chef at the time, with her family. We talked, and she came and stayed with us through the pandemic, till in the middle of the pandemic. And then after that, same conversation. If somebody left, like the first chef to leave was probably Indra from Nepal. Her family moved to Pennsylvania, so she was going with them. So I'm like, okay, what are we going to do? Venezuela was really high on the list. So we moved in Venezuela, and so on. Right now, we have a Mexican cuisine and a Venezuelan cuisine, which is not ideal. I mean, the food is different, but ideally, I would love having an Asian, or we have Sudan, so we have Africa, but another African country, or something a little more out the box. But we are now at the point of trying to find people that get the model, get what we're all about, and that can work with others. That's another, because we are an open kitchen. People share everything, so it can be a little tricky. It works fantastic. We have a really great group of people. But if right now I had a blank paper, I would try to get Asia, Africa, and maybe Latin America or something like that. Yeah.
So how many chefs are in the kitchen at one time?
We usually have at least four.
Oh, okay. So they each have their own section.
So
Okay.
they share an oven and a stovetop and fryers, but they each have their little stall. And then there's the main kitchen that or the main stall serves the main cuisine. And then there are some secondary dishes that are in honor of previous chefs. So in honor of Chef Indra from Nepal, we have a tupka soup. We've had a general manager, Becky, whose family is from Kenya, so we have a kukupaka from Kenya. And so we have a Somali dish. We have different dishes from people that have worked with us before.
That's amazing. I can't wait to come to your restaurant.
Yeah, I can't wait to have you.
So we like to ask all of our guests this question, and it's about the word impact. So when you think about this word impact, what does that mean to you personally?
To me, impact is measured in how many lives I was able, or we were able to change. I want to see direct impact in people's lives, and that's what impact means to me. Really, changing our employees, not just our employees, but our customers' lives, and that's when I'll be happy and say, okay, we made an impact. We changed somebody's mind. We economically empowered somebody. We made a difference. That's impact to me.
I like that. Thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
for sharing that, and thank you for sharing your story.
And thanks for
This
getting
is
me.
it's been incredible to speak with you. For anybody that wants to get in touch or support Global Cafe, Where can they find you?
So our website is globalcafememphis.com. We have social media, Instagram, Facebook, and then I'm on LinkedIn as well, if anybody wants to get in touch.
Wonderful. Well, Sabine, thank you again. It's been a pleasure speaking with you,
Thank you.
and I wish you all the luck with your restaurant.
Thank you, and thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Our Make an Impact tip of the month. Find authentic international cuisine in your area and give it a try, whether on your own or as part of a team outing. Thanks for listening, and make sure to do good in the world this month. If you have questions you'd like us to address on the podcast, you can reach us at info@riveocreative.com. Subscribe wherever you listen so you don't miss out on any of our incredible upcoming guests. We'll see you soon at the Riveo Impact Lab.